guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do another video with the TAMPAX cup. Thank you so much to TAMPAX for sponsoring today's video. I'm super excited because I finally get to sit down and answer the top asked questions that I get on my videos. I just want to put a reminder out there to you guys that I am not in any capacity a women's health professional. I did not go to school for medicine. I am not licensed in anything. I am just somebody who likes to talk about her menstrual cycles and has tried a ton of cups, and these are just my experiences and my opinions on the questions that you guys have asked me. Obviously, since you guys are asking me, you care about what I think, so that's kind of what this video is all about. So like I said, this video is being brought to you by TAMPAX Cup. I am super excited. If you haven't already checked out my TAMPAX Cup review, I will link that up here and also underneath this video, and also links to where you can purchase the TAMPAX Cup. But if you've already seen that video, you know that I really do love my TAMPAX Cup. So this is the cup starter kit that I reviewed for you guys. I did want to share with you, however, the little TAMPAX starter pack when it comes from Amazon. So when you open up the box, you do get your starter pack cup nicely placed in there, a little card to welcome you to the TAMPAX cup. And you also get, which I think is kind of neat, I know a lot of people probably won't think that this is neat because it is a disposable product, but you do get some always thin panty lighters. Now you guys know I do use period panties with all of my menstrual cups, but I like to have a secondary backup. So for people who are just easing themselves into the menstrual cup life and need a backup but don't have reusable pads already, or don't have, you know, reusable period panties, it is nice that they do include something like this. Now again, these are disposable, so I know a lot of people out there who are purely using reusable products because of the fact that you don't dispose of anything. This might not be something that you're excited about, but I do see where they were coming from when they added this to the box. And again, if you're just starting out, it is nice that you have this as well added to your box. Now again, if you want to see everything that's included in the starter pack, you can check out my video on it. I'm not going to spend too much time talking more about that, just because the point of this video is to talk about the top asked questions on my period videos. As you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, for the last 2 years, I have really immersed myself into reusable period products. Now, I started off using reusable products just for my own health and curiosity. As you guys know, I do have a very severe case of endometriosis that really was debilitating. I will say it would have taken my life, because I was very, very depressed during the time that I was at the worst with my endometriosis. I was in and out of the hospital. My family was racking up ER bills every month. You know, I was depressed and just like about to give up basically, until I started making changes to my life that really, really helped with my endometriosis. Which brings me to my very first question I get asked all the time, which is, do period cups relieve cramps? I think for me and for a lot of people that I've talked to, period cups or menstrual cups have relieved a lot of the severe period symptoms or endometriosis or PCOS symptoms. And I only say that just from talking to all of you guys. You know, like I said, I started using my menstrual cups because I wanted to find something that would help me with how heavy I was bleeding, how expensive disposable products were, and also just my all-around pain that I was having during my periods. Through the last 2 years of using reusable menstrual products like the cup, I can tell a huge difference from when I go from using them to, again, just basic regular products. When I switched back to tampons because I was too lazy to wash my cup, I talked about this in one of my reviews, I had the worst period that I'd had in a while. Now I know some people are like, oh, it shouldn't affect you that quickly, but for me it did. And again, this video is all based off of my personal experience and the research I've done myself, because that's all I can truly speak from, but I could tell a huge difference. So when it comes to that question of, do I really truly think that reusable products or menstrual cups relieve, you know, bleeding and cramping to a certain extent, I 100% think that they do. Now, do I think that it works for everyone? I can't say that because I haven't spoken to everyone. All I can speak from, again, is my own personal experience and those around me and my friends and family who I've converted, and I can say that they all saw relief in their bleeding and also their cramping. The second thing I get asked a lot is, how do they work? If you've ever kind of inspected your vagina or anywhere down south, you'd be familiar with your different working parts down there, which if you haven't, I highly suggest you do, because I think it's good for every person to kind of know what they're working with. But downstairs, you have a vagina, you have a vulva, you have a cervix, you have a uterus, you have an anus, you have all sorts of different openings, right? So your vagina is what connects your uterus, which is where you would grow a baby, to your cervix, to the outside world. So it's your vulva, which is the opening in your vaginal lips, and then you have your vagina, then you have your cervix, and then here's your uterus. A baby grows in the uterus, comes through the cervix, down the vaginal canal, through the opening, which is your labia and all of that good stuff. Imagine this champagne flute is your vagina, and then down here is your cervix and your uterus, and where all of the lining of your menstrual blood comes from. So imagine this upside down, like so. Again, this is your vagina, your cervix, and your uterus is up here, and all of the blood kind of falls down. This is where your cup sits. It sits at the bottom of your vagina, close to the opening of your vagina, and it catches all of that blood so that it doesn't release. So your opening would be about right here, so you can reach it easily to take it out, and then everything else is up here in the female anatomy. Now, to release a cup, you squeeze at the bottom and you wiggle it down and it comes out. I probably didn't explain that very well, because never in my life did I imagine trying to explain how a menstrual cup works in front of tons of people, but I hope that kind of shows you what I'm talking about. Moving on to my third question that I get a lot is, does a menstrual cup hurt? A menstrual cup should not hurt. Using menstrual cups is not just a one and done type of deal. There is definitely a learning curve to using a cup. You guys have watched me from the first time I tried a cup to now, 2 years later. When I first started using a cup, I didn't understand the logistics of it. I mean, you guys saw me physically insert one for the first time in front of the camera, and I had to readjust it, and it took time to get used to it. It was never painful, however, and when it was painful, I knew that it was not inserted correctly, and when I readjusted it, it wasn't painful after that. So, do menstrual cups hurt? They can, but only if you're using the wrong one or inserting it the wrong way. Sometimes you have underlying conditions, which also, like I said, can cause you to have pain. So again, it's very important to not ignore the pain and to figure out what the problem is. The next question I get a lot, which is very surprising, but you know, I don't think health education is what it used to be, but a lot of people ask me, can you pee with a menstrual cup? Now, this is again why it's super important for people to talk about the female anatomy more openly, because I feel like we're doing a disservice to our younger girls by not teaching them about their bodies and not encouraging them to learn more about their bodies, because it makes the whole body in general very confusing and, you know, embarrassing and scary, and that's not the case. To answer this question though, yes, you can pee with a menstrual cup in. Your vagina is a separate hole from where you pee out of, which is your urethra. You can see by this picture, your urethra, or where you would pee out of, is actually above your vagina, the hole where you would stick your menstrual cup in, and also where a baby would come out. So yes, you can very much pee with your cup in. Sometimes it is uncomfortable though, I will say that. I've talked about this before. Sometimes I've had to move the cup around to kind of be able to release my pee, because a cup is like pressing up against your bladder. The TAMPAX cup is really nice though, because I don't have that issue, and it is designed to help with people who have issues with the cups pressing up against the bladder. But there is no physical obstruction for your urethra when it comes to having a menstrual cup in, because again, they're two separate holes on your body. Another question I get quite often, and again, it all falls down to the fact that we don't have enough education out there, is, can the cup get lost? I've heard a lot of things online and read a lot of things, and unfortunately seen a lot of videos of people saying, you know, clickbaity, my experience of going to the ER, my menstrual cup almost killed me. things like that, because women are getting their menstrual cups stuck, you know, from either, who knows why, it's just migrated upwards, it's turned on its side, it's flipped inside out, you know, and they couldn't reach it, or they were freaking out too much that their body tensed up and it just wouldn't come down. There are a lot of stories out there, which I think is kind of unfortunate because it gives the menstrual cup a bad name and it scares a lot of people away from using them. But no, your menstrual cup cannot get lost. It's not going to get sucked up into your stomach. It's not going to get sucked up into your uterus. Your cervix, if you're not delivering a baby, is closed. There's no way that a cup of whatever size can get up through your cervix, which means it's not going to disappear in your uterus. It is always going to stay in your vaginal canal. There are those times where your cup can navigate too far north and you can get scared, or it can flip on its side and you won't be able to grab it. And I've had those instances before, especially with smaller cups that I review, because they're not normally the size cup or the size or the cup that I would normally use. And in all of those instances, because of all the education and women I've talked to who have used cups, I know that if I just let my body relax and squat down as far as I can to the ground and just continue kind of pushing like I'm giving birth, which is again easier for me to say because I've had 3 babies, but if I just bear down like I'm trying to take a poop, it'll eventually start moving down where I can grab it. Have been times where my husband's been like, I'll get it out for you, which is great that I have a partner so willing to do that. I've had girlfriends even tell me that they had those issues and almost freaked out and had their boyfriends help them with it, but eventually they got it down by just relaxing, taking deep breaths, bearing down, getting down there. And I mean getting down there, like you're gonna take a poop in the middle of the forest, or you're gonna give birth in a river, you know, just really getting down there and calming yourself and letting your body kind of do what comes naturally, which is to push things down, and they've come out. So again, your cup cannot get lost or sucked up into your uterus or your stomach. Your uterus and your stomach aren't even connected, so let's get that straight. But it cannot get lost up in your uterus because it can't fit through your cervix. Now, if you can't get your cup out and it's only been a couple hours, my suggestion to you is to calm yourself, take a deep breath, and call your OBGYN and ask them what you should do. The next question I get a lot is whether or not you can use a cup if tampons don't work for you. Now, this is a question I get a ton, I think, because I do have a teenage daughter. So a lot of you guys are constantly curious, like, do you push reusable products on your daughter? Right now, I'm just letting my daughter make her own decisions. It's her body, it's her choice. I'm not gonna force her to do anything. She knows I make these videos. I talk about reusable products around her all the time. Same with my son, same with my youngest daughter who's 6. You know, in my house, it's open door policy when it comes to our bodies, our, you know, sexual health, our menstrual health, all of that stuff. So I know, with that being said, that when she's ready to talk about that kind of stuff or wants to try that kind of thing, she will come to me, especially because I have cups galore around here, but she hasn't yet. And I know, I think that's why I get this question the most. And, you know, for parents who also have teenagers who want to have a healthier choice for them, I always hear like, you know, my daughter can't fit a tampon up there, you know, will a menstrual cup fit? They're scared. This is another question though that is so hard for me to answer, because while yes, you can use a menstrual cup if you can't use tampons, I can't sit here and say though that it will work for you 100%. The difference between a tampon and a cup is a tampon is more rigid, so there's not as much flexibility, whereas with a cup, it is basically made to squeeze into small crevices and fit your body, you know, so I do, like I said, I do think you can try one. Will it be effective? Will you be comfortable though? Again, I can't answer that question. What I can tell you though is if you can't fit a tampon in your vagina, that doesn't mean that you can't fit a cup. Like I said, a cup you can squeeze down pretty small, and again, once it's in, it is meant to conform to whatever area it is placed in. So yes, if tampons haven't worked for you in the past, cups they may work for you. You may find your best friend in a cup and it might be the thing you've been waiting to find. but it also may not. Again, there are sometimes underlying conditions which can make putting things in your vagina altogether just impossible or painful. You know, there's all sorts of reasons. So if you're having issues with tampons, I highly suggest talking to a medical professional. Get checked out, even if you're really young, you know, get checked out just to figure out if there's something else going on down there before you think, oh, okay, I just can't use anything internal at all. Cups can be more comfortable than tampons. Yes, if you failed with tampons, you can try a cup and cups may work for you, but I can't sit here and guarantee that they will. Just like I can't sit here and guarantee that one cup will work for somebody while another one won't, because I just don't know. And either does anybody else. Another question I get asked a lot is if you can have sex while using a cup. And my answer to that is you technically can, but you definitely should not. You should never have sex. And this is just my full-hearted opinion. You should not have sex while having a device like that inside of you, because A, it's not effective for birth control. If you're somebody who uses condoms with your partner, you run the risk of your condom not working properly. If there's something else in there in your vaginal canal, you know, something could malfunction, so that is not great for birth control. And also, again, you don't want to have that thing shoved up there so far that you do run the risk of not being able to get it out by yourself. Again, it cannot get lost up in your uterus or sucked up into your stomach, but it can get lodged up there pretty well if you have something banging it up there, no pun intended. I would highly suggest taking out your menstrual cup before you have sex. The last question I get asked, and this is a good one to kind of round out this video, is it worth it? I hear all the time, and even I, you guys remember, was that person in my first ever video 2 years ago who said, oh my gosh, $40, $50, that's so expensive, like why is it so expensive? But with that being said, I do see where companies have to charge that much, because the idea of having a reusable product is not having to repurchase it over and over again. And these companies have to make money, whether that is to advertise cups or to pay their employees. You know, there has to be money made. That's just the reality of the world. But I do think that the price is worth it. If you find the cup that you love, it is definitely worth it. I have spent little to no money on menstrual products, and I say little to no because I'm still spending money on my daughters, and then every once in a while I will purchase a new cup to review for you guys. But if I didn't have a teenage daughter who was using disposables, and if I didn't have this channel where I was reviewing new menstrual products, I would be spending $0 on menstrual products a month, and that I think is worth it. Also, not stressing about leaking or not stressing about going out all day with friends or family, or not freaking out about running out of my products and having to send my husband to the store or go out myself. Like, for all those reasons, it's been 100% worth it to buy a cup or own a cup. I bought my first cup myself. They didn't send it to me. I bought it, and it changed my life. Cups in general just have changed my life. I'm having less bleeding. I'm having easier periods. My periods are like 2 to 3 days. You guys have seen that. They used to be 7 to 8 days long. I used to bleed so much that I would constantly be ruining my pants, my underwear, my bed sheets. You know, I struggled with my menstrual health for years, and it's just so much better now, and it is, I think, 100% due to the fact that I switched what products I was using. Now, there are other factors for me. I have gotten healthier in general. I treat my body a lot better. I eat better. I've given up things. I exercise more. But again, it all correlates and stems from the fact that reusable products kickstarted that for me, you know, and yeah, so I do think that the price tag is worth it. Even if you have to buy more than one cup, which I do suggest to people is to have more than one cup just in case your dog takes a hold of it and you suddenly are left with that one mid-period, or your kid accidentally throws it down the toilet, or you accidentally throw it away or leave it somewhere or lose it. I do think it's good to have an extra cup. Also, if you have different times of the month where your cervix is a little bit higher or lower, like mine, I use different cups throughout my cycle. Or to sterilize it, if you don't want to be that person who sterilizes every night, you know, and you want to have a clean cup every morning, you can, you know, rotate between two. I do that. Even if you have to buy multiple cups because, you know, maybe one doesn't work, or maybe again, you just need a different one throughout your cycle, it is totally worth it, because the amount of money you will spend on maybe buying 1 or 2 or even 3 cups versus the amount of money you'll spend over the rest of your menstruating life the difference is huge, and again, it's definitely worth it. So there you have it, guys. There are, I believe, all of the most frequently asked questions. If I missed one, feel free to leave a question below. Maybe I'll make a second follow-up video to this. Again, I just want you guys to remember, I can only answer questions to the ability of who I am, which is, again, not a medical professional. I'm just somebody who uses cups and has used a ton of them, and has tried as much as possible to learn about her own menstrual health because of her endometriosis. And why am I talking in third person? But just remember those things while, you know, taking in all of this information. I really am happy to be the source of education for menstrual health. It means a lot to me that I can give back something on this channel to you guys and to my daughters for their future menstrual health. You know, it means a ton, and it means a ton to me to be able to work with a company like TAMPAX in introducing their new cup. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoy menstrual health videos, give this video a thumbs up. Comment below again if you have any other questions. What's great about these videos is that there's always somebody who's experienced in menstrual cups like me who read through them and will comment back, because we kind of have made our own little community here, which is awesome. But yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will leave the links to where you can get the TAMPAX cup and to my period playlist underneath this video, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Bye.